You know, growing up, I had no idea what being wealthy even meant. Like, I understand, I guess, what rich was, but for me, like, rich was driving a Corvette or being able to go out to eat more than once a week, because like, I didn't do that growing up. So when people start talking about how the secrets of obtaining wealth and becoming wealthy, I just like, well, secrets, well, these are secrets that are not passed down to me because no one's told me any secret. And then it took me a while to figure it out. And then when I started looking at other people that I would consider being wealthy or having obtained wealth, I started to understand what made them different, like what made them more successful than other people that always talked about becoming wealthy and getting wealthy, but yet they never did, right? They were still stuck in this sad state of always wanting to get wealth, but they could never figure out how to do it. So when I started looking at all these other people that actually what I would consider to be wealthy, I noticed that there was this commonality that they were doing. And this was a commonality that I was able to do myself. But the sad thing is that most people, they don't do it. Like I would guess that 95% of people that want to obtain wealth don't do this one thing. So what is this one thing that they don't do? Well, that's what I'm gonna talk about today. You know, I can remember growing up as a kid, and I grew up in a small town. So in a small town, like, you know who has the money. You know, these are the people with the big houses, with the big fancy cars. And now that I've moved to the Nashville area, like, we're talking serious money, right? We're talking a lot bigger houses, a lot nicer cars that I don't think I even knew existed until I came here. And you kind of you always ask this question, man, I really wonder what they do. I wonder how they made their wealth. Like, what was their claim to fame? How are they able to afford such nice things? Starting my career as a financial advisor, you know, I was pretty much taught, or I guess I should say brainwashed, that to think that investing, you know, in mutual funds, ETFs, individual stocks, like, was the only way to truly make money. And that's not a bad way to grow your wealth, to become wealthy. But that's definitely more of a long-term strategy. And you'll be able to afford the nicer cars, the bigger houses later on. But what about those like in their 30s and their 40s that are enjoying this wealth right now that for many just seems unattainable? Like, it just doesn't even seem like a reality that you could even afford anything like that. Let me tell you, like, there was a point in my life where I thought that. Now you have to remember, I didn't come from a household that had any wealth principles passed down to me. Both my parents filed for bankruptcy. They didn't teach me how to invest. They didn't even know what the word wealthy meant. These were all things I had to learn on my own. Most of this was through reading books. You know, eventually it was reading blog posts and listening to podcasts, but it also was just talking to other people that were successful, that had earned money, that had obtained, you know, the status of being wealthy. And when I started to dive in and learn more about what they did, I was able then to finally get it and then start applying that to my life. But it wasn't overnight, but it was just making this one fundamental shift, just making this one choice to do this one thing, this one different thing that most people don't do, that end up being this game changer for me. So a book that I read that I talk about a lot, I mean, you can check out other videos where I talk about this book, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I mean, it really just changed my life in so many ways. But really what it did was it challenged my way of thinking, challenged my way of approaching not just life, but approaching business, approaching how I make money, approaching how I increase my income. And like, even in that book, they don't, you know, Robert Kiyosaki doesn't really give you like a clear-cut formula, like go do this and do this and do this. I mean, he talks about multi-level marketing, you know, which I've voiced my opinion about in other videos. But really what it did was it challenged me to try something new, to do something different. And that began like this journey of just trying different things. And so I read that book. I tried multi-level marketing, didn't work out. I tried real estate, which I've talked about before, didn't work out. And the big thing that most people don't do is that when they try to focus on building their wealth and, you know, and just becoming more wealthy, is like they just try to figure out, how can I make more money from my job? Like, is that getting raises? Is that trying to get promoted? Is it going back to school and getting a certification? You know, some way where it's going to build up my resume so that I can get that pay increase. And you know, typically people get decent raises, but it's very rare that you see somebody get a 20 to 30% raise or double their salary, within a year's time. I mean, you're happy to get 3 to 5%. Sometimes you're just lucky to even have a job. What most people don't do is try to find a way that you can make money on the side. Is there some sort of side hustle that you can do that is allowing you to make money that is independent of your current job? And that is what 95% of people don't do, and I don't know why they don't do it. I think a lot of times they're just scared to try, they're scared to fail, they don't know where to start, so they don't start at all. But all these things that I tried, I mean, this was me independent of being a financial planner, trying MLM, trying real estate, reading books, and just letting my mind wander of like all these different things I could try. But it wasn't until I started my blog that I was able to finally have a success story to share. See, what happened was, before then, the only money that I ever made was from my financial planning business, getting new clients, which was the equivalent of having a salary, having income from my job. So to actually go out and make money from something else that was not dependent on me getting new clients, getting raises, hoping for a promotion to see my income go up, like that was a game changer for me. But the funny thing about this was the first amount that I made was $100. And it took me several months to get to that $100 level where I finally had something to show for it. But that $100 that I made, it blew me away, because it showed me that there is another way, that I can make money doing something on the side. And now the question was, okay, well, how do I grow it? How do I grow it from $100 to $200 to $500 to $1,000? And it just opened up the door, opened up my mind, showing me that there was so much more potential here, and I was jazzed. And yet 95% of people don't try. They don't make that effort to make extra money. Or, sometimes they're like, oh, I'm making extra money because I'm doing Uber or I'm selling my stuff on eBay. I mean, there's one thing like doing eBay arbitrage or doing Amazon arbitrage, okay, that's like some cool ways to make money. But is that something that you can scale? If you can, that's great, that's awesome. But making that extra $100, like that is not having a garage sale and making $100. It's finding a way that is just different than anything that you've ever done, and then just finding a way to make that extra money, because what happens through that entire process is that you uncover ways that you didn't know existed. And for me, had I not started MLM, had I not attempted real estate, it never would have got me to even starting a blog. It's like I had to go through all those experiences. Some might call them failures. I don't call that a failure. Like that was just a stepping stone to the next big thing. And for me, it was blogging, and blogging has led to so many other things that, once again, I never would have known had I not started. So are you that 95% that hasn't attempted to make extra money on the side? Have you not attempted to do some sort of side hustle that allows you some extra income? Challenge yourself to see if you can make an extra $100 on the side. Like I said, this is not a garage sale. This is not selling some clothes on some Facebook group that you already own. I'm talking about trying to go on Etsy and create something that people want to buy. Or if you ever heard of the site Fiverr, that allows you to do all types of freelancing type things, from graphic design, video editing, logo design. I mean, there's some crazy cool things you can do on there for extra money. But the whole point of this is to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to do something that you've never done before and make that first $100. Because for me, that $100 was a breakthrough to show me that there is so much more potential out there, not just for me, but also for you as well. So what is it you're gonna do? I challenge you, share in the comments below how you're gonna make that first $100 doing something you've never done before. Let me know in the comments what you're gonna do. And if you haven't subscribed and all that fun stuff, go ahead and do that. But more importantly, I want you to go out and make that first $100 and let me know how you're gonna do it. This is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, your life, and only you can make it awesome. You just gotta do something. Peace.